right, everyone. Welcome to the palatial studios of Live the Dream Media, and welcome to a new live podcast that has no name. We're going to have our meeting today.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have my good friends David Samarano and Clint Peaker here with me. The brainchilds of Live the Dream Media. You guys started this together.
Yeah.
And you and I, the three of us always have these conversations about good stuff, silly stuff, fun stuff.
Yeah.
And we figured someone should shove some microphones in front of our mouths.
Yeah.
Yes. Great idea.
We started off before just talking about nuns and drag today, believe it or
Yes.
not. I
Yeah.
never knew I was going to cover that with you guys today.
Yeah, I never knew that was going to be something somebody would try posting in one of the groups we run, but and it got through, so we have some.
And that just came up like 90 seconds before
I
we
didn't know
went
that
live.
was an entertaining piece, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's
You learn
2024, my
something-
friends.
You learn something new every day.
24.
Yeah.
Let's start with the name of this thing first and foremost, because we have
Okay.
to have a name.
Right.
You know, we had a couple of texts yesterday, which was the best pre-show meeting we could come up with. And so I came up with the other CDC, right? Clint, David, Chris. Right. Now you came up with an interesting acronym.
Well, I think it was one we came up with together.
Right.
Back in the day, it was DPS, D. Simone Peak Samarano.
Yeah.
With the former...
former law enforcement officer.
Anything starting with DP, I'm out. I'm out. Sorry,
You have a-
guys.
you have a-
I don't
you
want to
have
be
a-
the one on the end of that. I'm good.
Yeah.
You have a problem with dental protection?
No. No, I mean, I think we should expand on it because I think you're going to have guests here, multiple guests, right? Like, because you.
We're gonna just,
I won't
it's-
spill the beans on everything, but I think somebody said you might be coming around here a little more.
That's what I hear.
That's what I hear.
So the hope is every Wednesday, 10
Right.
o'clock-ish.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Ish.
Unless we get caught. The reason why we're late 30 minutes is because we were too busy talking in the other room.
Yeah, we were having
some
another
friends of ours,
meeting
yeah.
unrelated to this, and then the nuns in drag came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Did they have beards, the nuns in drag?
No.
Oh, okay.
None in the picture.
Not in the picture. That doesn't mean it won't happen.
Yeah.
There might be a bearded
Gotcha.
planned.
Hey, real
Thank
quick
you.
question. We got Scott Robb in the booth. Scott
Yeah.
Robb,
Where's
where you
he
at?
at?
There you are.
Scotty.
Yes, sir.
There he is.
Has the Perrier check cleared or not?
No.
Because
No, man.
if they haven't,
Turn those-
we'll turn
turn
that
that around.
Okay.
Right.
And now that I got 3 people and multiple buttons, it's just gonna be random.
He hasn't been in the box for a couple weeks, and it's like, all right, welcome back. We had it more.
It's muscle memory, and I have none.
Yeah. So I was saying we should expand on the name because I'm sure there'll be different guests coming through here because Chris is a popular guy, and
Yeah.
people like to go on his show that he has, and I think that they're gonna want to go on camera with him.
I really just want to be fun with the show.
Yeah.
Always informative, but fun. Wake Up Tucson can be quite serious at times.
Right.
Right. But in the Wake Up Tucson is informational ridicule. Is where it's kind of where I'm down with our elected officials.
Yeah.
So I want this to even be a little more kind of light
I
and
caught
fun.
Yeah.
I caught Wake Up Tucson this morning on the way in. They were talking about hope, faith, family schools.
Wow.
Yeah, reading poetry.
So I did. So I had
That's
this
a
lady,
fact.
one of these PR companies that they're offering you guests.
Yeah.
Says she's a poet, right? And she wrote a collection of. It's called something about silent suffering, and it's basically the pain of progressive policies, leftist policies.
Wow, that's deep.
I never knew she existed. I'm like, oh, I got that. I want that on the show. And she was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
She was an amazing, fun guest.
It was a good show. It was, I mean,
Okay.
not to imply the others aren't, but
No.
it was different. How about that?
Yeah, she was way better than I thought it was going to be.
Wow.
For the non-progressive poet. But it was really funny. She was talking about, I go, why are you the only conservative poet I know? And she's talking
Never
about,
thought about
back
that
to our
way.
schooling problems, right?
Yeah.
The government run school, then you get to college. They're not really saying, here's my ode to small government.
Right.
And someone's going, man, the teacher's going, at NAU or U of A, you should do more of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess you would ask, do a lot of the more conservative students dip into the arts much?
That's a great question.
Right.
I think they do. I just think they keep their heads down.
Because I was in the music scene for a while before a lot of this stuff, and there wasn't a lot of conservative feelings.
What
or
was your
ideas.
instrument?
My instrument?
Yeah.
It was computer software. I didn't.
It was
you know,
his
I
brain.
cheated, you know, it's
Oh, okay.
but
It was
yeah,
his
it was my
brain.
brain. Yeah, I just built stuff with just different loops and stuff like that. So I wasn't anything. And then I would work with. I started working with just other producers. There was one in particular. His name was Adrian Wood. That's out of LA. I started doing a lot of projects with him because he would compose these great pieces already, and then we would work together on those.
Back to DP references. Now,
Hey, you know what? David is good. David
right.
is good. No,
Right.
really. Matter of fact, you ought to have at least half a segment of a show, or a full show.
wow, you get 6
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah. No, a lot of bumper music could come out of that. You got
Yeah.
David wrote a lot of really good stuff. My wife has played a lot of it. My daughter plays a lot of it over the years, and at
Yeah.
one point there was a lot of it playing in my house.
So, what kind of music?
It's like a cocktail of hip hop, alternative, indie,
Can I say trip hop?
something. Right? Yeah. Maybe one day I'll share.
And
but,
you know what? Some of the latter stuff still had that flavor to it, but it was deeper than your average hip hop. There was
Well,
some
yeah, people change
well, he went from his 20s to his 30s.
yeah,
Gotcha.
You know, and they become a little more reflective. Maybe is a better way
yeah,
that I would say it.
yeah. And that's a
And I don't mean that in a
Genre
heavy way.
that's-
I mean it was just you could tell your
Yeah.
skills had grown.
yeah. It faded more into like the rock reggae kind of feel because the hip hop genre is just bathed in just I don't know what they're doing. So
Hey,
I don't participate in that genre.
While we're talking music, can I do
Yeah.
a real quick shout out to a
Yes.
mutual friend of all of ours, and that is they posted yesterday. They're looking for musical talent, and that is our good friends out at the Marana Pumpkin Patch.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
So if you're interested, you're a local artist, you're interested in maybe performing this fall at a live venue. They built a beautiful stage area out there.
It's nice. You saw it, right?
I
You
did.
saw it.
Yeah.
We went there together. Yeah.
Matter of
That's
fact,
right.
we hung out near that stage not long ago.
No, absolutely. I mean, what John and the crew is building
Yeah.
out there is just going to get bigger and bigger. And
Did you hear some of the stuff coming?
no.
Oh, I'll talk to you later. I can't.
Wow.
Share it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's more.
So think about this, right? Just on the local bounce of all of this, right? So he's got all that land, right?
Right.
He also has all that parking.
Yes.
That's really important.
Yes.
Okay.
Has he mentioned the number of acres?
I think it's got to be at least acres of the whole place or
like
parking.
the whole place.
No,
If memory serves me correct, there's like 6,000 acres there.
I can see it. But just think about this, right? So then that food hall he built.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that.
No.
Anywhere in the
Yeah.
area like that, right?
No.
That's not a hotel ballroom,
Yeah.
right? So the idea that you have, I think he calls it a food hall, right? The idea that he can probably sit 800 to 1,000
yeah.
in there, air conditioned, and he's got that big, beautiful kitchen attached to it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can do just with that.
Yeah. And then you walk out and you have that huge grassy field
Yeah.
just right there. And then behind it is just the scene of the sky and the mountain. It's just, yeah.
And
he's
the
onto
small
something over
old
there.
town look that surrounds it with the general store. And
Kind of one of those places you just don't want to leave once you're
Yeah.
there. You kind of want to just hang out.
So I went on a town of Marana mission up to Gilbert, Queen Creek.
Ooh, I'm glad we're getting to talk about this because I got to talk to Ted, the owner of Dominic's, about that trip too. I think
He was on
with
there.
it. Yeah.
You are correct.
Yeah.
And so it was the idea that the tourism folks, Stephanie, was kind of she was one of the lead charges on this was how do we start figuring out how do we grow this thing called Marana? How do we make it a more friendly to tourists, but also, and part of that is maintaining that farming Western heritage.
Right.
And so Gilbert and Queen Creek were two, especially Gilbert. They're the kings of it up there.
they're killing it.
And so there was probably like 25, 30 of us that went up and met with officials. We met with Joe, the guy who owns Joe's Real Barbecue in Acrotopia up there. And that's kind of where we need to be.
Yeah, it was cool hearing about how they did it. And from what Ted was telling me was the reason it's been so successful is they built the density infrastructure first.
Right.
So they built the parking lots and everything first without the buildings and everything there. So once you were able to already create the availability for the density, then everything else just fell into play. And he's like, it's continuous foot traffic
Right.
all the time. He's like, I've stayed down there on weekends, weekdays. There's people just walking around going to all these different places.
So there's one of the things that was if there was going to be a common theme through all of the discussion from people on why they've been successful, whether it's the bureaucrat
Right.
that's trying to get things right over there, or a guy like Joe who owns Joe's Barbecue and Farmland Grill and the Agrotopia thing, is and we're already here in Marana. We got it.
Yeah.
Is a pro-business council that gets out of the way of the entrepreneur. That came up like 8 times that day on the trip.
Wow.
Right. And then embracing our equestrian side of our life. When we go to Queen Creek has an equestrian arena thing that handles rodeo, horse jumping, all of anything you can do fun with a horse. Right. And they said that their annual economic impact just from that is somewhere between $60 and $70 million just for Queen Creek, which is the fastest growing community, I think, in Arizona right now. So that's something else where look at how many people show up for that little rodeo ring we have off the interstate by Marana High. If we invested any dollars in something to take that and just let's I'm going to use the fancy word, scale up a little bit, right? It'd kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kill.
And keep the heritage
Yeah.
of who and what we are and our history, which has been a lot of cowboys over the years.
Cowboys and farmers.
We were out at during a meeting last week with the food bank, and we ended up I'll shout him out by name, Craig Coulter, wanted to go out to the stockyards and have lunch.
Luna Cafe.
Luna
Stockyards,
Cafe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had Javier on the show, the guy who owns it, who's the main cook over there.
And it was
Nice guy.
Wednesday, so it was sale day.
Oh, nice.
And the parking lot's packed. The restaurant wasn't at that time because everybody's busy and they're buying them a bull, but that's our heritage.
I love the idea that I can go to the stockyards
And you dudes forced the intern to go there, if I remember correctly.
I
Real
wasn't
exposure
sure.
therapy.
You wanna jump on that because this is good.
We have an intern here right now, great guy, Anupam. He's from Eller, and he's from India. And we were on our way out there, and we were talking about the cows and how they're seen in his country, and that they're seen they're like kind of sacred, like
They are
next
sacred.
to the mother, because they provide milk. It's the next source of milk that
That's why
feeds the
there's no
humans.
beef tikka masala on the menu.
So we went to the stockyards and we ordered burgers.
We ordered burgers,
there
and
were
we got the
cattle getting
bulls,
sold, and I was like, man, I hope
Yeah.
he's okay. And he
thank
was
you,
all right.
Scott.
Yeah,
Thank you. Well, I apologize to him. You know what? No offense was taken.
No.
He understands
Stands are-
that. But
because
and I
we were
know
like,
you-
hey, you ready to go out to the country?
Yeah.
You know?
I can hear the phone call from the one of the assistant dean at Eller.
Yeah, all right.
Mr. Samarano, Mr. Peak.
You guys are done.
What did you do to pour out upon?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Anupam, if you're watching and listening, we know what happened that day, and
So we
it was a
will not
learning
be
thing.
going back.
There's
to the
aggressions,
stockyard
and then
on
there's
Wednesday, for
aggressions.
sure.
The
By the way, the burger was awesome.
that's what I told Javier. Make sure you get the burger and anything with beef correct.
Yeah,
because
basics.
the previous people had problems with that.
Yes, they did.
Right, and so I remember going there and going, and you could tell it was the 1/3 pound frozen shamrock burger.
Yeah.
Right, I'm like, there's cows right there.
go out and
Let's
grab
go get one. What are we doing?
them in
What are we
here.
nuts?
Knock the horns off.
Hey, a mutual friend of ours, who I won't call out by name, when they said $1.50, he was ready to buy beef, and I'm like, yeah, but you got to buy. That's for the whole cow.
Yeah.
I have a friend of mine who has a ranch little ranchette in Patagonia.
Okay.
And he's got 2 cows right now. Okay, he's got 2.
Okay.
And him and I were in Rocky Point for a weekend. We're up in that Choya Bay area. And his buddy's house we were staying at, there was one of those total McMansions that looked totally lost in all the disheveled houses of Choya Bay.
Yeah.
Right? And it turned out to be the guy who owns the largest feedlot in Maricopa County.
Oh.
Like at any one time, he is on his lots. He has somewhere between like 120 and 140,000 head of cow on his feedlots.
That's
Okay.
Panhandle, Texas material right there, baby.
So this was his birthday. We had the greatest steaks that you could ever make in Rocky Point at his place. But my buddy was just getting into this hobby ranching thing, and he's asking him, "Hey, I'm in Tucson, Patagonia." He goes, I want to buy a bull, blah blah blah, and he goes, starting off, we're talking, it's going to be like 15, 18 grand for something like that, and he goes, Swear to God, I've had a look camera on the guy's face when my buddy asked him. He goes, "Do you have one that's like only has 3 legs? That's like cheaper?" And you get to see my guys looking at him going,
3 legs.
"The hell you just said?" Then he walked away, just like kind of like pissed off and bizarred. And
we're
I said
done.
I said to my buddy, I go, "Did you just say 3-legged cow?
Oh my gosh.
What is this, the eBay of cattle? I mean, what is going on
Hey,
here?"
people are just trying to save a buck these days, man. It's crazy out there.
That is the price of food.
Oh,
Yeah, I can't go under $250 a trip, even at Walmart with my family. Because we got to buy pretty healthy stuff just for dietary restrictions for the kids and stuff.
hey, look, real quick, kids.
Yes.
You got a 1-year-old at your
I do.
house
Happy
today.
birthday, Nathan. Yeah. He's
Happy
over here.
Today.
birthday.
Yeah.
There it
Oh
is.
my God.
Yeah,
Bring the air
one
horn.
today. How
Yeah.
cool is
Yeah,
that?
That's pretty cool. Well, it actually kind of, time is just flying.
So once you have kids,
Yeah.
it goes really
New
fast.
game, new
Then
game.
when your kids get into things like activities,
Yeah.
they get to school and they're doing soccer or dance or
Yeah.
any of that stuff, then your time will be hyper sped. And then all of a sudden they're 16.
Yeah. See? Yeah.
And he's got a boy and a girl like I did, like you do.
Yep.
So they're typically not doing the same things at
No.
the same time.
Right.
So you're running off with your daughter, usually my wife, going with her to do her thing, and I'm going with my. And a lot of times there's great distance. Oh, and by the way, it costs a lot of money to do all that stuff too.
Yeah.
Thinking of that, remember, if you want to advertise on any of our shows on
Yeah.
LTD Media,
Yeah.
This is a call to advertise on this show. So if you're
Yeah.
looking for.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Scott.
Great idea.
520-373-2059. Call, get your debit card out right now.
Yeah,
Be
we'll
a good
get you
time to
signed
make
up.
a contribution.
It's like
to
a
the
telethon,
cause.
for God's
Yeah.
sakes.
Yeah.
On the price of food,
Right.
I was just saying, so we're all it's coming worse, right? The political commercials, right? And as you guys know, I'm not a big fan of the current executive in chief of the United States. But
No, I had no idea.
in his commercials, other than no joke, folks, no joke, right? There's these ones where these people saying, "Well, Joe's one of us." Well, that's an absolute lie. No, he is nowhere near any
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
us. Trump's not near any of us.
Yeah.
Trump doesn't. At least Trump doesn't lie to you and tell you he is one of you.
I'm one of you.
Right? But so the commercials always say Joe Biden is going to reduce the price of our prescriptions and something else. But I got to give him credit. He's not saying he's reducing the price of buying a box of cereal or some bread at the supermarket where you're getting pounded to
Yeah.
death.
Yeah, no,
You know?
bread's the craziest example.
Bread
I
is
remember
nuts.
I remember paying like $2.50, $2.99 for this bread that we would buy, and now it's like $7.
Yeah. For a loaf of bread.
For no reason. Like that was coming out of I hate going back into the COVID era, but even outside of the COVID era, it was still around that price. And then all of a sudden it just, okay, political ads coming out and all that stuff. Like nobody's believing this BS. Like I don't know how you would sit there and try to sell this. Like, I'm sorry, dude, and people that are in the camp. Like, I'm an independent, so I'm a free thinker. I'm gonna tell it like it is, right?
Right.
Everybody's wallet is bare right now.
Absolutely.
There is no ad. Being an ad agency, there is no ad we can create to cover that up. You're done. You're done.
Even like a price of meat, right? So you're a slow cooker guy. We're all slow cooker guys.
Yeah.
You know, it's like chuck roast. Okay, chuck roast. I'm telling you, 3 years ago on sale.
Yeah.
$1.97 a pound.
Yeah.
Right.
Now fries is like, oh, it's on sale, $9 a
Yeah.
pound.
Yeah, you're pulling a
Yeah.
chuck roast into the house. You're putting
Yeah.
on a tuxedo.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm gonna eat this thing.
Brisket.
Putting rosemary on
Again,
it.
$1.99 a pound.
Right.
Right? On sale.
Right.
$2.99 regular. We're talking $12 a pound now.
It is $12
For
a pound.
brisket.
It's true.
Yeah.
I don't know how the American people are doing it right now.
Well, you see
Hamburger. I'm a big
Yeah.
burger guy.
I mean, credit card debt is
19
off the wall.
trillion.
Yeah.
yeah. And our federal debt now, it's like $1 trillion every month or something.
So as you
We're
guys know,
35.
I'm buddies with David Schweikert, right, the congressman, and he's on Ways and Means. And the worst thing I ever did was he said, "Hey, you want to be on my my text list that you get an update on the federal debt every afternoon?" I'm like,
Yeah, no.
yeah, sure, right." And then you get it, and you kind of
me
go,
just-
"Oh, let me go hang myself in the closet. I'll be adios. See you
Yeah.
later."
Hey,
Kids
advice,
are
don't
not
do
paying
it.
that off.
advice. Don't look at that. That number is just like a hyperspeed. You want to talk about being
Yeah.
busy while go moving cameras? Watch that.
Have you ever seen those videos of the leader of what country is it? Man, he's got like the little beard. Dang it, I can't.
That's half of them.
I can't remember the name, but it's one of the countries in South America.
You're talking about Argentina.
Is it Argentina?
Yeah,
no, not him, not that guy.
Not Malay.
No, not Malay. It's this other younger guy.
Okay.
And he went in. I don't remember the country. Scott, maybe you can help me out. But he's been really talking about.
He's one of the Central American countries.
Yeah,
I
he's
know
been
who you're
talking
talking about.
our debt and our printing money and all that stuff. And
I think he's also the guy who said, with the open border stuff
yeah,
going on, that they're literally the cartels advertise in his country.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
You want a free ride? You want a?
It's like a travel package from AAA, but it's the
Travel agencies?
Jalisco cartel.
Yeah, I can't remember the name. But yeah, he's put together a lot of great videos, and he had one that was like all their gang members that they went out and just got, because I guess the country was riddled with crime, and they went and just got them, and they have this video of them just unloading them off of buses and like stack sitting them inside of a prison and like saying, hey, we've gotten rid of a bunch of our crime problems. This guy's on a roll. I don't know what country
And
it
since
is.
we're not reporting it,
Yeah.
Well, we know that too.
so
I'll make sure I get
guess
it to you.
I guess crime has pretty much
Well,
disappeared.
we just covered a story on Wake Up about San Francisco,
Yeah.
which of course is one of the just criminals all over the place. And in a survey of victims of crime, they're now saying there was 52% of those people no longer report it because they know neither the cops are showing up or
Yeah.
the district attorney is going to do anything about it.
I'm
which
glad-
sounds very familiar to Pima County.
Yeah, I'm glad you covered that because I remember you had shared something about that, like the numbers that came out.
Yep.
And so being in former law enforcement, right away, those numbers are not good to track anything,
Right.
especially with the way that police departments are structured right now. I went to a conference in Denver. I won't say the conference, but it was last year. And I got to sit down with many different leaders in police departments throughout the United States. And they all had the same thing they were saying. They were down 50% on their recruiting. And then half of the people they even got in the door were failing out of the academies.
Sure.
So what statistic is not being brought up on a continuous basis, especially with all this political agenda and everything, is why don't you guys look up how many calls they're holding on a screen
Oh,
in a police cruiser on their system, right? Look at how many calls are holding on that screen that may or may not get a response. There's a lot of cities that have eliminated even responding to a lot of crimes because they're just trying to get from one violent crime to the next or
Yeah.
one life-threatening crime to the
the
next.
TPD has told me that they literally on a typical shift, all you're doing is running to be late to one horrible situation to the other, and most likely you're just cleaning it up because you never got there in time in the first place.
Right. So when they say the crime is going down, actually the system is going down.
Amen.
The system is failing. Those numbers are not a logical way to report what's going on. You have victims that are not wanting to step up and report stuff because the services that are provided in a lot of places right now in the country can't accommodate their needs.
No,
So they're better off trying to handle it themselves or whatever.
Well, that's what's going to happen.
Well,
right?
that's-
scary
yeah, I
because
was
you
just
get
gonna
into
say that.
the
you get
vigilante
vigilantes.
stuff's
Yeah.
coming soon.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate.
And no one's promoting that here at this table. But
Yeah.
at some point, you almost have to take the law in your own hands because the few that they do get to, and maybe they try the dude or the dudette that created the situation.
Yeah.
When you're getting slapped on the wrist for heinous crimes,
Yeah.
at some point, we're
So,
I'll say it here. Public justice is going to come back to.
so if I was a
people just
town
taking
that
care of
wanted
their
to
own.
take care of this problem now and in the future, really have a long term, it's still back to hiring good people to be in law enforcement, right?
Right.
And then giving them the tools and the backup, and of course the attorney, county or district attorney that's going to do the right job, right?
Right.
And so we know that there's a lot of young people who are not going into the military anymore because the military is turning into a woke headache for a lot of people, right? And then vax mandates didn't happen. So if I was a city that wanted to rock and roll, I would be going after my best and fittest high school graduates.
Yeah.
Right, and say, maybe you don't want to go in the military. Come work for us. We're going to treat you how to be a professional. We're going to pay you this much money to start off, and let's move on with life. And that person will become their skills that they learn in a municipality like that
Right.
will serve them the rest of their lives. they'll be in high demand everywhere.
And I agree with that 100%. But the police departments, and I've said this to a lot of my friends who are in law enforcement, have to do a better job themselves convincing the public, and the public has to buy into that. This is not an easy solution. This is a community solution that starts with I think the police have to do a better job selling themselves to the community, because at the end of the day, we're all going to support the police department.
So
What's
Dave
right?
touched on it in relation to how many of them, when they're looking for people now, right? There's always some drug conviction in their past
Yeah.
that is messing it up for them, usually marijuana, right? But they physically can't do the job, right? They can't actually get their certification because these people are so out of shape.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was some talks of the standards being watered down in some places. And that still has caused a lot of problems with. There's been some issues still just out on the street with the individuals that are coming in not in shape. Because you got to remember, if somebody's, these officers, and officers have a responsibility to maintain their health, right? For many other reasons outside of being a police officer.
Yep.
But when you have that kind of stuff going on, you're going to need more bodies to take care of a situation if they're out of shape. So there's like a realistic idea, like, hey, we need to be training these kids. Like, you guys remember back in the 70s, 60s, 80s, how fit were high school students and stuff coming out of
Amazingly
school?
fit.
Yeah.
Like you look at schools now, other than the sports programs, you're like, what's going on here?
Let me ask you a question, because
Yeah.
I don't know. PE, when I was a kid going to high school, was required every semester.
Yep.
Is that still a
I don't
thing?
know. I don't know today. I know back when I was a student it was, but I don't know about today.
I don't think it is. Maybe a semester.
And I don't think the level of, like in your standard PE classes, even when I was there, it was really laid back.
Yeah, no,
There
ours was pretty intense.
There was some other ones you could take that were ran by more of the sports coaches that were way more intense and way more competitive. The other PE classes were not very
All of ours
competitive.
were ran by sports coaches.
Yeah, mine too.
They were ran by the football coach, Doc Fuquay, or
Yeah.
Sonny Ellis.
My brother and I, we work on this company called Blue Chip Planning together. Years ago, we got a referral from someone for a bunch of, maybe we went to a small town in southeast Arizona. I won't tell you which one it was. And we had 5 appointments in a day with all police officers from that town. They were the most out of shape, fat people
Yeah.
we ever saw in our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's concerning.
So as we were driving back, we literally said, if you could be a crime pink, all you got to do is don't have a gun and don't even get in your car.
Yeah.
Just run away
Just
from
run.
them.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can't.
Yeah.
They couldn't chase down, a turtle.
Yeah.
These poor guys.
And the same thing goes in with, the stuff that Scott was doing. He was a first responder. He was a firefighter. And
Yep.
I know that Scott would say that you probably want people in shape, right, Scott?
well,
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
There he is.
I saw it in at TPD, like certain commanders that couldn't pass the physical stuff anymore, but somehow they were still getting kind of passed through.
Well,
Yeah.
basically,
Right.
that was kind of what I was referring to a while ago, is the recruiting efforts from that particular department was embarrassing to me as as just a citizen. Yeah, well, come as you are.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody's welcome. Well, that sounds great, but for police department, we need a little higher standard of physical, moral, ethical, legal responsibilities than just everybody's welcome.
And it's funny because there are plenty of police departments in the U.S. that are fully staffed.
Yep. Oro Valley.
And yeah,
Marana.
and you're not seeing
Or here.
headline stuff out of there.
Remember,
Right.
City of Tucson is at 1988 staffing levels right now.
No kidding.
And the population was a lot different in 88 than it is in 2024.
Yeah.
So when everyone else, all these lefty cities were saying defund the police, City of Tucson would send the old text message, hold my beer.
Yeah.
We've been doing it for 25 years.
Yeah, what is our percentage of population? Are we up a third from that? Or
Who?
Tucson. From 88 to today? Are we
Oh,
up?
it's got to be. I mean, they're at 6.5. They're 550. 550.
Yeah.
I bet they were in the 4s
Yeah.
in those days.
So maybe a third increase in population
Yeah.
with no additional
So
numbers.
driving in Tucson is very dangerous because we've said this over and over again. There's no traffic cops anymore, right? Because they're so understaffed that they're dealing with people getting shot and stabbed all the time.
Yeah.
So Magnus had TPD down to zero traffic cops in 2020.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So they're up to 15 now. That was from Chad Kazmar's mouth himself.
Yeah.
But Chad has also said what you're supposed to be is 50 to 60 traffic cops for a town like Tucson.
And we're at 15.
So,
See.
all right, I'm going to change. I want to have a
Yeah.
little fun with you guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw some headlines at you, and you're going to tell me if the story's true or false.
Ooh, this is great.
I love it.
Okay.
All right. It's
All
like
right.
NASA is installing internet on the moon.
True.
What about
I
you?
know we supposedly have 2 astronauts that have 45 days to get back, but
So what do you
I'm
think?
going to say yes.
It's true. The real NASA will be building a 4G network on the moon, enabling them to control lunar robots. So
Whoa.
you got that going for us.
Yeah.
A university banned the use of capital letters to avoid scaring students.
True.
No way.
That's
No.
got to
True,
be
that's
false.
true.
False.
True. What university?
I can't. It doesn't,
Yeah.
I'm trying to get him
I'm
to
gonna
give me
say
the answer.
false,
I'm
but-
trying to
the
manipulate
answer
it.
it is false.
Ah, dang it.
Some real guidance given by a university was misreported to seem more dramatic. So, couple in California named their child with an emoji.
I'll go true on that one.
I'll say false.
False. It was definitely made up by a satirical website. I love you. I love you, Babylon Bee.
Hey, but you know what? Now that the word's out,
These are going to cut up great.
German street covered with chocolate after leak from local chocolate factory.
I'll go true.
Sounds like a movie.
I'll say true. That doesn't seem far-fetched. It seems like it's very possible.
Yeah, I'd say true.
Reminds me of the Simpsons episode when Mr. Burns sold the nuclear power plant to the Germans.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're the land of chocolate.
Yeah.
And of course, Homer's mind goes to everything's made of chocolate in Germany. It did happen. A ton of chocolate leaked from a factory in Westonen, Germany, covering the payment.
Hey,
Wow.
I'm keeping track of the score. We're 3-3
Are we
right
3-3?
now. Yeah.
All right.
I am
This
keeping
is like
track
the
of
Sports
that.
Center when they're picking games.
Ding, 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 ding,
I feel like
ding,
this
ding,
one's easy. School bans parents from sports day for bad behavior.
Oh, yeah, true. Come on.
I need that to be true.
There were some times when I was coaching that I wish that would happen.
All right, so this opens up this conversation. What youth sports have you guys seen the worst behavior in?
Baseball.
I would say girls softball,
It's-
although not a bad, and I would go either way. Girls softball can be insane.
So I've coached
You?
Little League baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I've coached a ton of club soccer, mostly girls. I have coached boys, and then my daughter played Baja
Mm-hmm.
fast pitch softball.
Okay.
And the worst out of those is Little League baseball.
Yeah.
All right, especially at CDO Little League because it's the high thing. We're going to go to CDO high. We're going to go play in the pros.
scholarship.
Like literally, what they do is that CDO Little League is like the quote minor league for CDO high school
Yeah.
baseball, which is a
Pretty
very
good.
very good
Yeah, they're pretty
program.
good.
Right.
Those I've seen some good fights. Parents and umpires. Wild. Now softball was getting worse over time. It didn't hit the heights. Now, the worst sport I know, just because I have relatives back east, hockey is the worst.
Makes sense.
That is the worst because what happens is your commitment as a parent is massive.
Yeah.
You're traveling all the time.
Yeah.
No piece of equipment is less than $400.
Ouch.
David and I did a little. David, I don't know if it's the first time he'd seen it, but we went up a couple of months ago. Good friend of mine, he runs great programs. That the level of that.
The level of
Cost
play
and-
was insane, too.
It's just and the joke is we're going to start a prenatal league. Now these are boys, but it could be girls. A prenatal league. You know, we're going to have births at home plate, and we're going to start playing those kids. And honestly,
Wow.
honestly, 2 years old. The leagues aren't there yet, but I know parents and grandparents that are spending a fortune on
So-
2-year-old
That's too
children.
much.
I know
That's
this,
Especially in
much.
girls soccer, girls softball, right? So one of the things that's kind of the double-edged sword of Title IX and the availability of scholarships for girls is now every parent thinks their soccer or softball player is going to get a full ride to a D1 school. That's the goal,
yeah.
right? And so they get a little nutty on that.
Yeah.
That's what I've
We
seen.
used to have these conversations a lot because I was heavily involved in the industry, still am to a certain degree. Hey, most of your kids are not going to play there. I'm just sorry. We had
70% of the kids in the country. Are
yeah, and your kid's not playing shortstop for the Yankees someday. That's just not going to
So
happen.
here's the other thing that's weird. So we know that kids are getting more sedentary because they're looking at their TikTok crap all the time,
Right.
or watching LTD Media.
Yeah.
And
guilty as charged. Nice.
we're part of big tech now.
Yeah.
But what happens is that there's less kids getting into these
Absolutely.
sports, right? Well, those kids that are getting into those sports, is club sports, it's the intensity on that's going to get jacked up like you would never believe.
Our buddy Javier Morales just wrote an article about that recently. I think maybe yesterday I saw it. What is that? All Tucson Sports. I can't think of it.
All Sports Tucson.
Yeah, All Sports Tucson. About Sunnyside is where he's from, and how it had. They didn't have actually certain teams because they didn't have enough players in those age groups.
Gotcha.
But we, just to throw in a plug for a guy that came in here a couple of weeks ago, we did a podcast with. His name is Nick Thorne, and he's with Legends Baseball. And he's done a little kind of a new twist on this host sports thing. So if you're interested in more about that, check out Legends Baseball. He got a unique. And the guy played a little college baseball, so he knows a little bit about the game.
Gotcha.
And played at Mountain View High School. So I
All
would
right.
encourage anybody that's like looking for an alternative, especially when it comes to baseball. I'd give the guy a look. He's got a unique take on this.
Orangutans use slang just like humans.
This is disturbing.
Yeah,
This is a setup.
yeah, we're being set
This
up.
is
Yeah, we're being set up
Why are you being set up?
because I don't think there's a good answer here. I'm going to say yes, but
I'm gonna say no.
I don't know how they would do it. But
This is real. Scientists studied 7 orangutans living in the islands of Borneo and Sumatra and found that they quickly introduced and stopped using lots of new sounds, just like slang in the human language.
Wow.
so they're abbreviating their sound.
They are.
Yeah. Okay.
So, polar bears scream when they
4-3, by the way.
4-3.
That was perfect timing right there. Polar bears scream when they defecate.
Where did you find
They're not in the woods, so do we know for sure?
this dude? I haven't seen it
What
on
is this
the
guy
National
doing at 4
Geographic
o'clock in the
channel, so I'm
morning?
gonna say no. I haven't seen. Watch this polar bear. He's gonna squat and scream on his own.
Squat and scream is-
I don't know why it was Australian accent,
I'm going to
but-
say no
It's a new
as
Ben
well.
and Jerry's ice cream flavor,
Yeah,
squat and scream.
I'm going to go no
I'm
as well.
gonna say no.
It is fake. The rumor was circulated online for years, often miscaptioning a picture. I want to see the picture.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no. What is
man,
this
I'm
guy
still
doing at
trying
4
to
o'clock in the
look up-
morning? What you guys? What
I'm
you guys
still
got?
trying to look up David's request. Younger guy in other country with a beard. So believe it or not, I'm not doing too well.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Hopefully, it gets through,
Hold
hopefully it
on.
gets through our filters.
Can we filter that a little bit more? Leader, possibly in Central America. That's funny.
All right.
Yeah,
You know
drop the
what?
bomb.
You
You know
guys
what?
have
That's
phones
one of the
too.
things we love about that guy. He just don't stop.
You know, I forgot I had my cell phone for a little bit. I'm sorry, Scott.
Put your damn cell phones away. Concentrate on what we're doing here.
That's right.
You guys know who Greta Thunberg is, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Climate activist Greta Thunberg lectured the people in China to stop using chopsticks because of the devastation of the trees.
Well, that sounds like something she'd say or do. So
Yeah, right. She's
I'm
been
gonna
the
say-
fearless
I'm gonna
leader
say
behind the whole climate
true.
change movement, man. I mean, what else would you do other than listen to her? Her.
It's fake.
Okay.
So you guys are even there. Raccoons break into California bank.
Oh, true.
Sure.
It's true.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Raccoons are crazy,
Yeah.
too.
What kind of loot did they get, though?
Is that how that 10 million went missing?
No, that was 100 mil.
100 million. That was an
100 mil.
inside job.
California theme parks banned screaming, not while pooping, because during COVID-19.
Say that.
California theme parks banned screaming because of COVID-19 on their rides.
Man, you know, I wish. Oh, man. You know how sad that is that I can't
Yeah.
just give like a quick answer on that?
So remember, this is the
That's the thing, isn't it, David? that
this
we live in
particular
that
matter,
world,
yeah.
this world that we.
You want to say
remember
no?
this is the state that arrested the surfer.
Yeah, how do you
I remember
enforce
the
that?
video.
I guess? So, yeah. So if it's true, I'd need to know how they enforce that. So I'm going to say true because I want to find out how that was enforced.
David, where are you at on this one?
when you get off the ride and they go, we know you were screaming.
So David, where are you at? True or false?
False.
False.
Okay, we're even now.
Uh-oh.
That's right. That's right. Oh, great. If he's coming in like that.
Artist sells invisible sculpture for more than 12,000 English pounds.
That's so dumb. False. That's so dumb.
Got to be false.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
It's real.
You can feel it if you stand here. Listen.
Can you picture this? Do tell.
That is the best charlatan. That's got to be the best charlatan
Do
I've
tell.
ever. He read Robert Greene's book for sure.
Do tell.
All right, here's the tiebreaker, and then we'll end this whole thing.
Okay, here we go.
A staff at a zoo in Europe taught a gorilla how to knit.
True.
I'd say that's true.
And drink tea.
Fake.
And defecate without screaming.
I'm gonna see if I can.
I was confident on that one. I'm like, that sounds like a very
I saw-
European thing
I
to do.
was too.
Just
tried-
tea and crumpets there.
Well, you know, let's all we'll part as friends. You guys,
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
as a
Yeah,
tie.
yeah.
All right.
And then my last thing, a big thought, and this is something that's going to be right up your alley, and this won't be as silly as what we just did, as we like to say. So we're always talking about when your career, your life path, finding your bliss, doing what you're doing. You know, you guys are learning that. You're learning it more than ever with getting out of public safety and doing what you're doing now. So, as you know, I love quoting my boy Joseph Campbell, the mythologist, right? And the quote is I just like this one. If the path is before you is really clear, you're probably on somebody else's path,
No kidding.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Isn't that what we're?
Isn't that true?
It's tough for the average bear to grasp that, though.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
If things like there's this little stretch of things going really well, I know that there's like this storm about to come because that just doesn't last long.
Actually, I didn't say it quite that way, but David and I had this very conversation this morning.
Interesting.
Doing what we do, living the life as we live, it's not easy. It's not supposed to be easy.
No.
Yeah.
It really isn't. It's supposed to be overcoming challenge, thinking your way through. So that's a really I dig your guy.
So
Joe Campbell.
they always talk about the when you're on they call it the hero's adventure, but it's the idea that when you're living in your world and what they call the call, right? There's something out there that's saying you're supposed to be doing something bigger than what you're doing now,
Right.
right? And that's part of breaking out of that comfort rut that you're in. And sometimes there is you don't even know it. There's the refusal of the call. Right, and what happens? You find it. The call's out there. You know it's there, but you're refusing the call because of safety.
Yeah.
Then what's happening is you're living a much not as content life because you're refusing the call. Right, and so don't end up in the wasteland. And a lot of our brothers and sisters are living their life in the wasteland.
Well, David and I call it around here unrestricted free agents. You know, you be a free thinker, and I'll go on record as saying the same as David. I'll echo.
Yeah.
I'm an independent. I'm registered independent because I choose that. But you got to push yourself because eating bonbons is fun.
Sure.
Who doesn't love
Yeah.
to just sit back maybe on a Saturday? He didn't get the chance with the little ones, but eating a couple of bonbons and watching your favorite
Do they still
game.
make bonbons?
I don't know. I use that as a reference.
I just thought about that.
But
Feels like an
how
answer.
about a piece of coconut pie? How about
right.
that? But yeah, okay. Do it for do it for an hour, and then let's build something. Let's grow something. Let's challenge ourselves, and then try to find like-minded people to do it with.
That's a hard thing.
Oh yeah.
It's
'Cause it's often that people, there's a lot of people going around saying they're CEOs and entrepreneurs and everything, but it's easy to see people see themselves bigger than the mission. You know what I mean? And that's where like we get stuck with focusing on now and what's here. We need to figure out what's the big thing, what's the big step, what's really going to happen. Because like I often have days where I get stuck in that now mode where everybody does. I think it's just part of our human nature, right? You're like, man, this is okay. This is what I'm focused on. whether it's a problem that happens with a file or something, right?
Part of the now is what helps also pays the bills.
It's right. But like,
right. So you can dream about the future and plan.
yeah. So it's
Balance.
that's the hardest thing, I think, is getting past that now moment when you're dealing with something just got you thinking the wrong way.
Yeah.
Right. You got to look way down the road. We had a conversation about this yesterday.
We had a conversation over coffee this morning about
Yeah.
the same thing. You know, a buddy of mine, I'll reference him, Rick Peralt, just total random, but he was called, I won't get into the story, but he was asked to find someone that thinks outside the box and involve that person in a project with him. I got a call 30 seconds later because I didn't know there was a box. Now, that doesn't mean I don't get caught in that same rut, the same moment. I think a lot of it is age, because we're different age demographics, and I think I'm speaking more to you to validate what I'm saying. As you get older, you know where I'm going with this, David, things have a way of working themselves out if you're working at making things happen.
Sure.
Not always. I mean, you can slam right into a brick wall because your thoughts are wrong or you got bad advice or things like that. But as you get older, you realize a lot of things that you're fretting about or worried about or concerned about maybe never ever happen, or you're dragging something from your past with you
Sure.
that's over.
That's always happening.
You know, and we're all guilty of that. Like you said, David,
Yes, sir.
that's the way our brains as humans are wired. We're built that way. So again, my advice to anybody, young, older, and like, now is not forever in 99.9% of the cases.
So
Give
to me,
yourself a break.
There's two things here. One is when we talk about the path is someone else's, and if you said, "Oh, Chris, how can you make society a happier place?"
Right.
I would say, I wish I could go back in time when these boys and girls were in their teens, and say, look, if there's something you really dig, follow that. Don't. The easy thing is whatever my parents or my crew expects me to do.
Yeah. I like you said the crew part.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Your crew. Because you get a lot of influence from those groups that you're in when you're younger.
Boy,
Like,
peer
yeah, I'm gonna
pressure is
do-
a mother, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I literally, I just had this guy on yesterday. His name's Don Dickinson. He teaches history. And Don used to run the big Copper Bowl tennis tournament in Tucson for years, but he became a history. And he did the whole thing yesterday on the show because it was the anniversary of the start of the Korean War yesterday.
Is that right?
And he was talking about interviewing local Tucson veterans, right? And what happened was in the 40s, most of these kids are Hispanic kids from Tucson High, right? And what happened was someone said, oh, there's not much you can do. You should maybe get into the military, maybe the reserves. And so there was a way that you did reserve. You know where you did reserves when you were in Tucson? San Diego.
Yeah.
So
Well, that'll work.
Once a month, you get on a train, and you'd go to San Diego for a 3-day weekend.
Oh, that'll work.
Yeah.
Right? And you got your new boots, your Marine shirt, your pants, and you were in the Marines, right? And they were making some money. And then, every year they'd go for, a week or something like that in the summer. Smart, right? And what happened was all of a sudden, they went to the reserves that weekend, came back on the train, and there was a letter waiting for them in Tucson. It says, you're shipping off to Korea. They said, say what? Right? And it put them on a path that they never realized before, because that was just the thing to do. There's nothing for you to do in Tucson. You should go join the Marines.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, but it was just the idea that all of a sudden they're like, say what?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
And
we
they're-
went from San Diego and the beaches to
the Chosin Reservoir is where these guys went.
the DMZ zone.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so that when you're young, that's it. That everyone, America is the greatest place to remake yourself,
Absolutely.
no matter what age you are.
Yeah.
Right.
But those kids are doing those things that are expected of them. Most of that time, that doesn't lead to a happier existence.
And you know what? Not only kids, but you can remake yourself at any point in your life as long as you've got breath in your lungs.
Oh yeah.
Right. Question for you. So
Yes, sir.
regarding to the blue chip planning,
Yep.
with these young individuals that are getting ready to get into the workforce and stuff like that, what advice do you have for them financially so that they can set themselves up
Good question.
in the future to not have to depend on per se a job or to be working their whole life, right? To have a retirement, to have funding available for them to enjoy those years afterward.
So building that discipline that they're taking some percentage of their check and putting it away from them spending it is massive,
Right.
right? Because
And the sooner the better.
Right.
Because of compounding.
that time earning of money is that's real. As to paraphrase Martin Lawrence in This Is Where That Blank Just Got Real, right? Is you have to put that money aside and it has to be out of your paws. It could be anything. You could say, I'm putting $100 a month away. I don't care what it is. Start building that discipline of money getting out of your spending sprees and just put it over there. I don't care what you put it in for right now. Now, if you could put it in something that's going to make just a good steady return, you want to dollar cost average into some good stocks or mutual fund, fine. Just get it out of your life.
Right.
Get it out of your wheelhouse. And then debt is, you got to stay away
Avoid
from the
it.
debt. Ramsey's right. The debt will kill you. It will just kill you.
Yeah.
Right. And all these people that are selling you stuff like cars, they're not selling you. Well, you know how much a Toyota Camry is right now? A friend of mine just bought a Toyota Camry. What do you think?
43.
It's about 40
Isn't that crazy?
for a Toyota Camry.
I know,
That thing was
man.
24,000 5 years
Yeah.
ago,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And we're going to finance
Brand
that
new.
because he's got 42 grand
At
cash in
8%.
most cases.
So I did my summer graduating college because I have a hotel restaurant management degree, but I was working as a chef at the Ranchers Club on Grant Road, which was the other Five Diamond restaurant. But at the same time, I was selling cars for Click,
I did not know
and that was an experience.
Yeah.
Okay, and so they have this, they have the Foursquare when you get there, and the training was payment. Payment.
Right.
That's all you want to do. That's why they always gave you that range. Now, Clint, we're going to get you into that Ford Fiesta, okay? And with your trade on your truck, we're going to give you $300 for that, okay? And that's going to bring your payment somewhere between $570 and $620 a month. Can you live with that payment? That's all you were just getting the customer on payment.
Yeah.
And today it's just the same game.
Oh, yeah. It's weird when you go in and try to buy cash.
Oh,
Well, don't mention it till you're done.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Don't
no,
bring up cash
yeah.
till you already got your deal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude, they get squirrely. They will start changing those numbers like crazy once you're like, oh, yeah, that's how much. And I'm like, all right, I'll pay that cash. No, well, no, it's not. That's not the cash price. Yeah.
It's
really.
true.
Yeah.
Remember, they get a cut of financing, right?
Yeah.
If they go
Oh,
through
yeah.
their
It's
financing.
You know,
Market
that was
condition,
deliberate.
right?
If you, the men that made America, the Titans that built America, that's a little bit off, by the way.
That's okay. I know we're wrapping up.
It was Chrysler and J.P. Morgan hatched that plan.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you this one story, then we'll call it a day. So my last vehicle I bought, we're up in Phoenix, okay, and I did all my research. I had my cars.com. This is the price. Boom. That to me that was the starting price. Was what was on cars.com. So me and Mrs. D, we drive up there, blah, blah, blah. We see the car. The car's fine. It's everything we wanted. And I see the price on it is $5,000 more than what's on cars.com. And he starts selling me on rehab and all this stuff, right? And I go, no, the guy was too young. I go, you don't know that True Coat discussion off of the movie Fargo, right? With I got that True Coat, right? It felt like that, right? And I go, I'm going to be that total dick customer right now on you. So the guy who owns that is a prominent alumni down here of a certain university that has possibly something with his name on it. And I said, do I really be the guy who literally will tell everyone walking in that building that this man's a crook? Is that what we're going to do? Do I have to go and report you to the attorney? I got the paperwork right here.
Yeah.
And what are we doing?
Yeah.
Right? But how many people are just going, oh, that's right.
Sure.
Yeah.
The refund.
You know why?
Rehab.
You know why they're doing it? Back to what David said a while ago. The peer pressure.
Yeah.
I got to keep up with.
Oh.
David next door's got a new car. I got to get one too.
Oh yeah, and then I saw an ad like that before a couple times, and I would go to the dealership, and the car just wasn't there.
Yeah, we don't have that. That's gone.
We don't have it. Oh, where did it go? Oh yeah, it's sold. I'm like, that came out like today.
It was such a hot deal, Dave.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm getting
like,
ready to
so
start
those
looking
cars
for a
don't
new vehicle, so dealers beware.
Yeah.
I'm
I
coming
found
at you.
some success at a real small dealership.
It's true.
They
I bought
were
a couple of those.
a lot lot easier to work with because I think they're just happy to get the cash that day.
Real quick question for you about the latest car you just purchased.
Yes.
Are we talking about a used car or a new car?
Used.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're
Yep.
all in agreement on that?
Yeah,
Yep.
I won't buy new ever.
So
New is
you
out.
know how we know that guys and girls can make very foolish decisions when they're really into another guy or girl, right? This girl's really hot, and they do dumb things,
No,
right?
no, that's never happened.
Okay, and girls do it with hot guys. Okay, Americans are the same way, or pretty close about a new car.
It's emotional.
I mean, they do the stupidest things when
Yeah.
it comes to getting a new car. Oh, you have a 96-month financing? That's great.
I saw the average price of the average payment $720 a month right now. for a
Yeah,
car.
it's my mortgage.
my
buy a
first
house.
mortgage was $885.
Yeah, that's my old mortgage.
Yeah.
Holy
So now
cow.
with insurance, you're well over $1,000 on that car.
Oh, easy.
Because insurance has got to be.
Yeah.
I'm an old guy. I get a pretty good deal, but it's got to be $300, $400,
Then they're
$500.
canceling everyone out in California for their insurance for
Insurance, yeah.
homeowners and other things.
Again, yeah.
All right. Well, this thing that had the show.
We
with,
didn't get a name though.
the show with no name, like
show
the
with
horse
no
with
name.
no
Yeah,
name.
a horse with no name. America. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out.
The show with no name. I'm always reticent about naming thing after me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you would call it "Wake
Great
Up
for
Tucson."
SEO though.
Yeah, I know. That's
Great
just,
for the digital world.
all right, we'll talk.
They can Google you.
Have
and
a-
bam.
Have your people talk to my people about
okay.
the name of the
Hey,
show.
and if our listeners have a great idea,
Yeah.
I mean, we'd take you out to Stockyard and buy you a burger if you come up with the winning title.
Not sell you.
Hold on, I just got one. It's called "Keep Your Day Job, D. Simone Show." Wow, brutal.
Hey, good times.
Yeah, it was
Scott
fun.
Robb, thanks for your help in there today.
Yeah, you're
Appreciate
the
it.
man, dude.
Yes, sir. Great job, gentlemen.
Hey, did we find that guy with the beard in South America?
Gosh dang it, guys.
Yeah, we'll keep Google searching that. I'm on. My guys are on it right now.
Put Dave Samarano, beard, and DP in a search engine. Thanks.
Please don't.
I'll do
All
that
right.
once we stop.
Thanks for
streaming.
watching the show with no name. Chris, Dave, and Clint. God bless you, kids.
Till next time.
Be nice to each other.